As one of the soap's original characters, Eric Forrester on The Bold and the Beautiful has had a lot of drama in his life. So let us run down some of the highlights and lowlights for you. First, appearing in B&B's very first episode in 1987, Eric has always been played by actor John McCook. He even brought the character over to sister soap The Young and the Restless for appearances multiple times over the years. Eric Forrester was introduced with his marriage to Stephanie Forrester already on the rocks. She believed he was having an affair with his assistant, Margot Lindley, but it was Stephanie herself who introduced the other woman to their lives when she hired caterers for a party, and one of them turned out to be Eric's ex, Beth Logan. Eric left his wife for Beth but returned when he learned he had a long-lost daughter suffering from microcephaly. Stephanie had lied that Angela was stillborn to save him the pain of a disabled daughter. Unfortunately, the real Angela had died years ago, and the doctor had presented the family with an imposter. After his son, Ridge Forrester, ended his relationship with Brooke Logan, Eric found himself drawn to the beautiful blonde. When Brooke found herself carrying Eric's child, she considered terminating the pregnancy because he was technically still married. Stephanie was stunned to learn of the secret affair and Eric left her to marry Brooke. After they welcomed their son, Eric Rick Forrester Jr., Brooke was drawn back to a newly single Ridge, and she claimed to be carrying his baby, but Bridget Forrester turned out to be Eric's. Although a relationship with Sheila Carter led Eric to walk down the aisle with her, she was a dangerous psycho, so that didn't last long. Eric and Brooke have remained close. Not this close, but close. CBS Eric was later shocked when Stephanie confessed to him that Ridge wasn't his biological son. Massimo Marrone was his father, from an affair she'd had. Though this caused some initial tension, Eric still favored Ridge over his biological sons, Rick and Thorne Forrester. Eric divorced Stephanie and remarried Brooke, but their takeover of Forrester Creations was thwarted when Stephanie learned she was actually the sole owner of the company. In the end, Brooke went back to Ridge, and Eric returned to Stephanie once more. Stephanie's scheming again drove Eric into the arms of another woman, this time Donna Logan. Stephanie and others plotted to break them up, but it ultimately failed and Eric divorced her to marry Donna. After Eric had a heart attack while having sex with his wife and fell into a coma, it was revealed that he'd been poisoned. Although there were many suspects, and Owen Knight confessed to take suspicion off of Donna, who he was in love with, they learned it was Pam Douglas, who had drugged him to help her sister, Stephanie. Business at Forrester was bad and Eric was constantly having to mediate between Ridge and Rick's sibling rivalry. Bill Spencer managed to take over the company briefly, but the family managed to get it back. Eric's marriage to Donna was strained by her working closely with her ex, Justin, and then when she wanted to press charges against Stephanie for accidentally causing her mother Beth's fatal drowning. Realizing how strong the bond was between Eric and Stephanie, Donna divorced him. And when he learned Stephanie had stage 4 lung cancer, Eric's old feelings for her returned and they reconciled and remarried before she sadly passed away. Stephanie and Eric had an unbreakable bond. Sean Smith/JPStudios.com. Although Eric regained control of Forrester Creations, he was despondent over the loss of his wife. He found comfort talking with Taylor Hayes, and that eventually blossomed into a romance. Brooke wasn't happy about that development and tried to get rid of her, but when she found she was pregnant, begged Eric to claim to be the father so Ridge wouldn't find out it was Bill. Eric declined, not wanting to risk his new relationship, and the truth ended up coming out anyway after Brooke miscarried. However, Taylor was upset that Eric had been keeping Brooke's secrets, and their relationship fizzled out. Amidst all of the constant power struggles at Forrester, Eric found himself drawn to Quinn Fuller, a new jewelry designer they were working with. The family was not thrilled when he went public with their relationship, citing all of the horrible things Quinn had done to hurt people in the past. But Eric defended her and even decided to marry her. After no one but Ivy Forrester attended their wedding, Eric lashed out at his ungrateful family and suffered a stroke. After he recovered, Eric learned Sheila was back in town and trying to turn over a new leaf. But she was just as scheming and exposed Ridge and Quinn's affair to Eric, who moved out of the mansion and into a motel where she tried to get her claws into him. Eric presented Quinn with divorce papers, but after she signed, he tore them up and accepted her apology. He even forgave Ridge. Eric always finds himself caught in the middle. Howard Wise/JapaStudios.com. Eric and Quinn's marriage was on pretty solid ground for a while, but when Eric found out that she and Shauna Fulton had schemed together to convince Ridge he'd married Shauna to keep him away from Brooke, he kicked her out of the house. Quinn kept trying to apologize and didn't help her case when she accused Sasha of being after Eric herself, but eventually, he forgave her. However, Eric's chilly behavior towards her, especially in bed, sent Quinn into the arms of Carter Walton, and they eventually had a torrid affair. When their secret was revealed during Quinn and Eric's vow renewal ceremony, he once again kicked her out of the mansion and fired her from Forrester. However, he later tore up the divorce papers and asked her to move back in, explaining that his behavior had been because he was suffering from erectile dysfunction and was humiliated he couldn't satisfy her anymore. Quinn promised it didn't matter and vowed to make their marriage work, but was stunned by his later suggestion that she continue to seek sexual satisfaction from Carter. Ad block test. Why?